Hey, welcome members and friends and family who have joined this exciting webinar. As Syed Nishat is one of our long-term API friends. He is a very big API supporter and more importantly, he actually does very good webinars and very educative webinars and seminars. I have learned a lot from attending his webinars and I'm looking forward to another great one today. I think you're in for a treat. He gives great insights and he keeps up with the latest things, what's going on in almost every week, and he updates you with what to do. Most importantly, what I like about Syed is that he educates you. He doesn't try to sell anything, and that's the beauty of it. That's why it's called more of a educational seminar. Having said that, I'm sure all of me, I'm Amit Chakrabarty, AAPI President for the next 3 to 4 weeks maybe, and I'll just take this opportunity 1 minute to put in a little bit of blog of mine. I invite everybody to attend the API convention in Tampa, Florida, July 4th weekend. And we've got very exciting CEO forums, women's forums, cutting edge CME. We're going to get 10 to 12 hours of CME. And on the other side, we have got great celebrities. We just got confirmation that Neeta Ambani, the first richest lady in the whole in India at least, she will be gracing us with her presence on Thursday afternoon. We're going to give her a humanitarian award, and we're looking forward to that. In addition to that, we have Vivek Oberoi, Ankur. We have got Brahmrishi Gurudev coming, Didi Krishna, who is a leader of Sindhi community, and we have got Achyuta Samant, who is a great philanthropist from Orissa, and he actually hosted our global summit. He's an amazing person. So, and having said that, obviously we have entertainment. Nimesh Patel will be a stand-up comic for the YPS. We've got ghazal programs by a very prominent singer from India. We have a cruise, which will be featured on Thursday, where everybody is going to be there. Either go and we'll have DJ nights every night for the young physicians and whoever enjoys DJ music. We have ghazal programs in the evening. We have got Kumar Shanu and Sadhna Sargam on Friday and Vishal Sekhar on Saturday. So it's going to be great. And as you guys know, I'm a foodie. And you may not know, I'm a foodie. So food and entertainment will be the priority. We have got Mehfil, we have got API's Got Talent, the whole works. The website is apiconvention.org or apicon2026.org. Very easy, apiconvention.org, and you can go and register, and we look forward to seeing you. Thank you so much. Over to you. Sunitha Pollepale is a board of trustees, and she is an amazing worker. She has started many projects from her own health group and also child fair initiative she started in Orissa when we were there this time. Great initiative. She is an asset, a great leader for API and a board of trustees. She'll be moderating this session with Nishant. So I would, without further ado, I won't take much of your time. Over to you, Sunitha.
Namaste, I'm Dr. Sunitha Pollepale, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome all of you to API's educational webinar series. Today's topic is estate planning updates, important changes in asset protection for physicians. API's goal is to educate its members about the importance of financial planning and becoming financially independent. Attendees should consult their own advisors and attorneys for any advice. API does not endorse any of these suggestions or any financial advisor. This webinar will be recorded. So today's event is hosted by me, Dr. Sunitha Pollepale. As usual, today's guest speaker is Syed Nishat. Syed is a certified financial planner and a certified plan fiduciary advisor. We have done multiple webinars with him, and we would like to make it more audience interactive, not a long, boring interaction, not a long, boring presentation. I will ask questions and Nishat will answer. You can ask your questions as well in the chat box. Again, please ask your questions in the chat box and we'll try to answer them. Nishat, thank you for coming.
Thank you, Dr. Pollepale and Dr. Chakrabarty, for inviting me. Really appreciate it. And thank you for all the hard work you do for API, all the late night you work and thankless job you do. So thank you. Very appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing you in Tampa.
So as we start, and as we're waiting for people to join, some lighter topic, can you recommend any educational books for our audience to read and learn about investing?
Yeah, I actually have two recommendations, not just the book. The last time when I came, I recommended to read Ray Dalio's Principle. the read. Hopefully, audience liked it. But today, I recommend a book to read, which I really enjoy reading. I read it all the time. Is A Random Walk Down Wall Street. Again, Random Walk Down Wall Street is a famous guy I like by Burton Malkiel. Amazing writer, co-author, write about the how to start the beginning investment, passive investment, how to pretty much do it yourself. 93 is still alive, but it's a very good book for API members. First time with someone want to learn how to invest. I think A Random Walk Down Wall Street is still available on Amazon. Try to read it if possible. Number two, it's not a book. I highly recommend everyone, including Dr. Pollepale, if you haven't done it, download Anthropic Claude AI. That is insane. I'm telling you. Fable 5 is the version. Everyone, mark my word. This is not an investment advice. This is probably a better advice I'm giving you. Fable 5, Anthropic, download it. This is crazy what they're doing. You will fire your financial advisor, you'll fire me, Syed Nishat. So this is amazing. I highly recommend that download this Anthropic Cloud and get the paid version, $20, $30 paid version. It will really help you to ask all the question, and you will see it really changes your overall financial planning question you may have it. So this is one small off-topic tips I have for all the audience.
Okay. I always see you speak about buying passive management like index funds. Do you still have the same opinion and you don't believe in active management? Can you give us some insight into that?
Yeah, I still say the same boring thing every time I come, that active managers cannot beat the market. And it's a real story. We manage about 1.5 billion asset under management, almost. We have active management, we have passive management. This year, if you ask our clients who are active managers, they will say they are underperforming the market. We are shy 2-3%. You know why? Because our own research team miss out the chip rally, like Micron, SanDisk, they didn't buy it. And now the client is calling back and say, hey, why don't you buy it? Now we are buying it back. But those clients who are investing to passive investment, our passive investment side, they didn't miss out anything. They bought SPY, they bought QQQ, and they're up as much as the market. So what I'm saying is consistently in the long run, no one can beat the market at all. And if you look at my slide, you'll be surprised to see for the last 1 year, including us, how many money managers were unable to beat the market? 79%. Insane. 79%, including my own company, couldn't beat the market last 1 year. Active management I'm talking about. And the statistic last 20 years is 92%. They cannot beat the market. So that's why I talked about the book, read it, The Random Walk Down to Wall Street. You will see it where to invest at passive management. So that's why I highly recommend for the investors to do passive management, buy index funds. But you got to diversify though, because what's happening that a lot of physicians, including API members, or I go to other medical associations, they put everything like SPY, only one fund they buy, and they buy this 5-6 stock like Apple, Google, Amazon, Tesla, nowadays Micron. This is all they buy. But happened that the problem is that if you do it like this, S&P, if you see 2025, 52% return happened because of this Magnificent Seven. S&P is not diversified anymore. So these physicians, they have this WhatsApp group, they chit chat, talk a lot of time. It's not fun, boring as an anesthesiologist, and they feel buying all these stocks. If it's possible, investment's supposed to be boring. You buy and hold. You're not supposed to trade and buy, sell like a gambler, right? So this is what's inspired to do it. So that's why if it's possible, you buy index fund, but diversify. What I mean by that, like you buy some international. There's the best friend I talked about, Claude. Ask Claude, they will tell you what are the good index funds out there. And then you can buy some gold. Gold, for example, last year went up 67%. International went up 31% last year, but S&P went up only 17%. So that's why you should buy passive investment, but you diversify. You don't buy one index fund. You buy at least, if you have $1 million, I recommend about 8 to 9 index funds, including mid cap, large cap. And I believe, Dr. Pollepale, a financial advisor can never become a physician become a financial advisor is easier. So listen to from a financial advisor, again, the same boring thing, buy index fund, dollar cost average, and forget about it. You'll be good to go.
Good. So going back to estate planning, can you please explain what probate means and why it's important to avoid it?
Yeah, going back to the main topic, probate. A lot of people, the whole purpose of estate planning is to avoid probate. What does probate entails? Probate means that if anything happens to you, it doesn't mean that the court or the county you live in come tomorrow and hand over the assets to your family the next day. What happened that you have to take the copy of the death certificate and you have to send it to the county you live in. The county need to validate the whole process and then they will release the fund. The probate is costly, is public, it is slow. You live in Newburgh, right? I think.
Yes.
In Newburgh, the probate, how long is about 6 months. Do you know how many probate cases in your county? You are in Orange County, I think. Orange County.
Orange County.
Orange County. You know how many probate in your area last year? It's a small town. How many you think?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I just for sake of fun, I took a look. Take a look. 3,400.
Wow.
Just in your small county, and the Long Island, where a lot of my clients live in, which is called Nassau County, that's over 10,000. Probate means they're all going through court. Most of this, Dr. Pollepale, could have been avoided by proper estate planning. So that's why, by all means, if it's possible, avoid probate by different tools. And this is what we're going to tonight talk about, how to avoid probate and what are the tools out there.
Okay. So what is TOD and what is a ladybird deed? Do you need a will if you have TOD?
Yeah. So what happened if will is a must, all right? Because if you don't have a will, the court will decide if you have a young children who will take the custody of the children, the burial wishes and everything, and who gets what. You need a will. But Dr. Pollepale, what happened, will does not avoid probate because they have to take the copy of the will, your death certificate sent to the county. So will doesn't avoid probate. It's just a legal document. But TOD is necessary. So on the right side, I will just talk about what TOD means. TOD means transfer on debt. Like all the brokerage account you have it. Let's say, for example, a simple person like me, Syed Nishat, I did most of it. I did a will and I did TOD. Because I have 2 young boys who are 4 and 7. And what I've decided to do that I want to keep my life simple. I don't want to create, I'm 47. If my wife is 46, if my wife die, I would like to remarry and vice versa. So joking aside, I'm just saying that if I create a trust, it becomes too complicated. So in my situation, will, TOD, like a transfer on death brokerage account is good enough, simple. And TOD, if you have it, you don't need to have a trust. It avoids all the probate. So brokerage account have a TOD, bank account have a POD, or house have a TOD, that's do it. So that's called TOD. Left hand side, there's something called ladybird deed. Depending on the state you live in, audience, if by any chance, if you live in Florida, where the AAPI event's happening, Michigan, Texas, Vermont, West Virginia, these are the state. What happened that the house deed, you can just complete a form and it avoids probate as well. So these are called low-hanging fruit. You don't need an attorney. You can just put a TOD. You can create a basic will and ladybird deed, depending on the state you live in. These 3 things, if you do it, that's a good starting point without creating a trust. I think everyone should have this basic thing get done. Hopefully it makes sense.
Okay. So when do you need a trust? Why do you need trust?
Yeah. So in my situation, if you are like me, Syed Nishat, 2 kids, most of the accounts in brokerage account, life is still, I still think I will live forever. It's things like this. Yes, I think will is fine. I don't need a trust at this stage of my life. But if you have minor children, yes, it could be. And then you have your assets are substantial. I would like to see your assets are about 3 to 4 million. You don't want to give the assets to the young children right away. You want to give an installment. You have wishes, number 1. You may have properties in multiple states or you have a lot of real estate. Like I have a client in New York who owns multiple pharmacies. If your situation like this, you want privacy. Privacy means your estate is big enough. 2 to 3 million is big enough for me. If that's what you have it, you want to have a privacy. You have a child with special need. You have significant wealth. You have a blended family, like you were married before, now you're remarried and have children. Situation like this, I think it's good to have a revocable trust at that time. So again, simple life like me, TOD will. A little bit complicated, like I mentioned, those situation comes in and you are settled in life. You know the marriage looks good, everything is fine. You're a little older. I think revocable trust is a good next step.
So what's the difference between a irrevocable trust and which one should we use and when?
Yeah, I think the question is, what's the difference between a revocable trust, irrevocable trust? But there's another type of trust I will just tell you is a testamentary trust. So revocable trustees means that you control everything. You can change anything you want. So it's you created while you're alive, the children gets it after you pass away. So you put the house, the brokerage account, everything under the name of a revocable trust. The children only gets it when you pass away. There's a beauty of a revocable trust, and I will tell you in subsequent that in the event, if you want to change anything, you can keep changing it as you wish. Irrevocable trust, what happened, you created for mainly asset protection, and also gifted to your children. Again, so let's say my net worth is 10 million to 20 million. I know my net worth will grow to 30 million, and anything more than 30 million in America, there's a death tax. What I would do, I would give the money to the children before my net worth goes higher, because once I gift it, the money basically grows estate tax free. The benefit of a revocable, irrevocable trust is, Dr. Pollepale, if anything happens to you, the children inherit the money, they get older, get into a divorce, all the assets are protected. Lawsuit, everything is protected. So this is a difference between revocable. So revocable, you can change it anytime. Irrevocable, you gift it, money is out of your state, you cannot change it anytime, it's irrevocable. And lastly, there's something called testamentary trust. Testamentary trust is within will, there's a trust people write. The trust is activated after you die. I recommend not to do this most of the time. So either just have a will, like my situation, revocable trust, like maybe someone is a little bit stable. Irrevocable, they are high net worth, they need asset protection, estate tax, they need irrevocable trust. Simple, hopefully, I'm going to summarize again, these three things make sense.
So what are some important clauses that must be incorporated in trust planning?
Yeah, so there are a few things which are very important, and when I see people, this is not just a trust. I think some of them are also applicable in the will as well. All right. But you must have heard have you heard about Karishma Kapoor by any chance? The famous actress. Her ex-husband passed away, Sanjay Kapoor. Amazing guy. He was playing golf in London, swallow a bee, die. Crazy life. So 1,000 crore is still, if you open NDTV, ZTV, you will see the news keep coming in. So we studied it. These are the clauses they were missing. Number one, something called low contestant clause. No contestant means if anything happens to, let's say, me and my wife, I put a clause there. If children have a disagreement, they settle in private, not in public. Don't go to court, settle in private. Because if you don't settle it, you're not going to get anything. So no contestant clause is very important. So it is to remain private, in my opinion. Make sure you have that clause. Number two is spendthrift provision. That is very spending. God knows nowadays, young generation, Gen Z, they have bad habit. They don't know where they spend the money. Make sure you have the clause that put certain restrictions there. They cannot just take the money out whenever they want to for gambling purpose, for example. Put the spendthrift provision there if it's possible. Number three, recently, about 3 years ago, IRS passed a law called Secure Act. Dr. Pollepale, you have retirement account, I'm assuming? If you pass away, your children, they have to take the money out within 10 years. Usually we recommend the trust as the secondary beneficiary of the trust, usually. If that is the case, in the trust, you have to put the language, Secure Act 2.0, otherwise it doesn't work properly. Another two things, lifetime trust for the children. So one of the mistakes we see people make, if anything happens to you, father and mother, they say the daughter or son, they inherit the money, they give it under their individual name. Like Ayan and Noah, my two sons, they will get their individual name. I think it's a mistake, because if they get in their individual name after a certain age, they get married, get into a divorce, asset become half. I recommend create a clause at that time called lifetime trust for the children. It's just a clause, you put it within the trust. So my son, in my case, Ayan and Noah, they must open their own trust, transfer money, and the money will not commingle with their spouse. And lastly, I do recommend a couple of more clauses called digital property clause. Nowadays, Dr. Pollepale, people are investing money in Bitcoin, then blockchain. And then passwords are getting crazy. So many passwords. You don't know, like one of my clients recently passed away, and then everything was in something called passkey. And he didn't put anything in. We didn't even realize that the client actually invested into digital token currencies. We didn't even realize it. But we take a look, but this client didn't have it, the digital clauses, who will have access to it. So we do recommend, because things are getting very technological advanced, put the digital property clause, who will have access to it. And so these are the 5 most important clauses. We see that you must put it into your revocable trust or irrevocable trust.
Okay. So that's what you touched upon. That's digital estate planning also?
Yes, absolutely. Yes,
Okay.
correct.
All right. Can you please explain what step up in cost basis means?
Yeah. So before I talk about step up in cost basis, one elaboration a little bit, like you ask that digital estate planning, how to plan for it a little bit, especially if you have invested into digital currency or crypto or NFT, how to plan for it a little bit. So I recommend when you create the will and trust, since you have all this cryptocurrency and everything, make an inventory list. My recommendation in a piece of paper. All right, number one. And number two, in the power of attorney I'm talking about, and the revocable trust, there's something called RUFADA. RUFADA basically is the state law. Just put who will be the grantor after you pass away. If anything happens to you, who will have access to it? That person. Make sure you put that in the RUFADA agreement. You put that in. And also you use Apple, we use Google. They inside that there's something called legacy contact. If you open your phone, Apple phone, you will see legacy contact there. Put the person, like in your situation, maybe your children, who will have access to that. So all your photo are gone, all the pictures are gone, everything is completely gone. So at least that person, what happened, it works very nicely, because that person is to call Apple, put the death certificate and a copy of a driving license, it works fine. Same thing for Google, inactive account manager, Facebook, all this, just make sure you complete that. Make sure that all the password, I do recommend try to use something called password manager if you feel comfortable. There's one something called Keeper. Just to let you know, Keeper is a software, people use it all the time, because you have 20 different password where they're going to store it, but you can store it there. In Keeper, what happened, you can give grants access to up to 5 people. It's very cheap per year. You can give access to your children. If anything happens to you, they can just log in and see all the password credentials there. And just in case, if you are invested into blockchain, there's something called Bitcoin, there's something called blockchain. Blockchain is basically is a ledger, right? It's a structure. And underneath the blockchain, you have Bitcoin as a currency. So just in case if you invest into tokenized investment, that's a different topic of its own. So we have to store somewhere the phrases. You need the phrase to use the blockchain. So I think these are some of the steps you have to take. The digital currency, if you're investing into it, and an experienced estate planning attorney can help you draft all the documents in your estate planning. Now, the question you ask, what is a step up in cost basis? Someone is to understand if anything happens to you, Dr. Pollepale or me, let's say I buy Apple share at $200, stock is $400. If I pass away, my children inherit the money, their cost basis will be 400, not 200, the market value. So they get a step up in cost basis. So that is very important though. So we see in our Indian community, they say that, okay, I want to give my house to my daughter while I'm alive. Don't do that. You bought a house in a lower price. You will lose the step up in cost basis. If you gift it, if the money goes to an irrevocable trust, if you gift the money to your daughter, the daughter cost basis will be the price you originally purchased, which is a mistake. So wait, the daughter will or son will get the money after you pass away, and hopefully the property appreciated, the appreciated price, the children will get it. So in estate planning, you must put into the consideration in a revocable, irrevocable trust the step up in cost basis for investments though. So I know it's a long answer of a short question you ask. So I hope our audience following it, but if they have any question, I'm sure they're going to put it into chat box.
Okay. So as you mentioned that the estate tax exemption has gone up, and some of us have put a lot of money in irrevocable trust and lost step up in cost basis. Can we unwind an irrevocable trust?
Yeah, so we are asking a lot of technical question today. So as I mentioned that if you gift it to irrevocable trust, you lose a step up in cost basis, right? So what happened that as of right now, husband and wife both pass away. Anything only after 30 million, you have to worry about paying state tax. But it was about to expire about 2 years ago, if you remember. It was supposed to come down to 15. So in a panic, what happened? A lot of physician, they gifted their appreciated stock because they thought the exemption will expire, but the president or whoever the politicians decide to increase it. Now the dilemma is that they bought Nvidia at $10 and stock is $400. They gifted it, they lost a step up, right? That's the problem. They could have waited and die, and then the children get everything tax free, right? So if that is a situation, sit down with the attorney and see if there's any way to unwind it. Sit down. Usually there's something called trust protected if it's there. There's something called private settlement. You can do various methods out there. Sit down with the attorney. I know it's irrevocable. May not be easy, but it's a good time to sit down, revisit to see if you can get it back to your state because the state tax exemption has gone up. So it's a one-on-one discussion. You need to have it, but irrevocable trust, because of the exemption went up, deserve a second opinion.
Okay. So what are the powers, duties of a trustee in trust? Do you recommend using professional trustee in the document?
Yeah, so I'm doing it for 17 years, Dr. Pollepale. So a lot of our physicians put their family member as a trustee and then children, because children are younger. I have seen, you'll be surprised, within our community, jealousy. So I didn't, if you're, whoever the trustee is richer than you, all good. But it's very important that your trustee is richer than you, not poorer than you. Then it's a headache because then, oh, I didn't realize they have so much money. And then the relationship changes, to be honest with you. So it's very important that the trustee is good because the trustee do have power though to release the money. All right. And trustee may not be impartial. The trustee may not be accountable. So make sure the trustee is very good. If you're unsure about the trustee, one suggestion could be you can have your relative and have a professional trustee on top of it till the children is mature enough. But the children is mature, just fire everyone, okay? But till maybe whoever the beneficiary is 45. If the beneficiary is 45 is still not mature, you're bad luck anyway, right? What are you gonna do? So 45 is good, and then fire everyone. But till then, if you have some concern about the trustee, we see it all the time. If you think jealousy, those things, immaturity, trustee will be there. Have a backup. I think it is good because they are fiduciaries. They have to follow the state laws. They have accountability. They have investment skills, and they have to follow your wishes for sure. So if your net worth over 5 million, that range, I do recommend as a backup, have a professional trustee.
So what is SLAT and when should we utilize SLAT?
Okay, so far we spoke about basic stuff, which is called revocable trust, net worth below 30 million. Now physicians, they are high net worth. Their net worth is sometimes higher. And due to surge in stock market, their net worth zoomed up. So one option could be there's something called SLAT. So irrevocable trust. So SLAT is a type of irrevocable trust. If you think your net worth is gonna go high, over 30 million. I'm going to use, let's say myself as an example. I'm 47 years old. Let's say my net worth is 25 million, which is not, but let's say it is 25 million. And I'm gonna live hopefully 70, and I'm making almost $1 million per year. In few years, if I keep adding it, 7% growth happen, my net worth will become easily over 30 million. If that is the case, in my situation, SLAT makes sense. SLAT is called Spousal Lifetime Access Trust. It's called SLAT. It's a type of irrevocable trust. Remember, you asked the question, what is irrevocable? You can gift the money to the irrevocable trust. The beauty of SLAT is, as long as the spouse is alive, the spouse can take the money out and give it to you from your portion. Similarly, from the wife's portion, vice versa, you can take it out and give it to the spouse. So 15 million each, you can gift it to the Spousal Lifetime Access Trust. Ideally, you should gift cash on non-appreciated property or non-appreciated stuff that may go higher, because remember, in a SLAT, you lose the step up and cost basis. So if you're in a situation where the net worth will zoom up, it is a good idea to create an irrevocable trust. A type of irrevocable trust is called SLAT.
Okay. So what is IDGT, Intentional Defective Grantor Trust?
Yep. So we got so far, we spoke about up to anything about over 30 million. Now, what about my net worth is 100 million? There are people out there. So if your net worth is, let's say, 50 million, 60 million, you have to pay state taxes, right? You got to do something. So after you buy life insurance and everything, you don't know what to do. But again, this is something intentional defective grantor trust. Do it after you have done everything. Don't do it right away. So in a intentional defective grantor trust, I'm going to use myself as an example. So what I can do, instead of gifting it, let's say my net worth is 50 million. I'm just giving an example. My net worth is 50 million. What I'll do up to 30 million, I don't worry about paying state taxes, but anything more than 30 million, 20 million, I will sell it to my family member. Again, I sell it. It's not a gifting. I don't use the exemption. Exemption is open. I sell it 20 million to my family member. The way the process works, once I sell it, the money is out of my state. The caveat to it, every year, I do have to take money out from the agent to myself as an income. There's no income tax. I just have to take money out, back it to my state. The amount is about 5% per year. Again, let's say 20 million I gifted, 5% every year. In 20 years, I'm just talking about all money. I have to take it back to my state. But the logic is that whatever growth happen, I give 20 million, the money grows, it grows state tax free. But if you listen to what I just concept I mentioned at Pollepale, is too good to be true. You just told your family member taking the money out. So what happened because of this concept is IRS audit happens a lot. So, but you'll deal with IRS audit, but because you have to pay taxes anyway, your net worth is so much. But AGIT is another resource, high net worth physician, net worth over 30 million. They have to worry about preserving and don't know what to do. You can think about after doing everything AGIT, selling as well.
Okay. So let's say I have a lot of funds in retirement account, like 30 million due to buying NVIDIA. What should I do so my kids don't have to pay too much taxes?
Yeah, so this is quite common, Dr. Pollepale. You know what happened? All these tech companies, a lot of API members, physician bought it like way back. Like I had a client whose father-in-law father bought it, all these crazy stocks, and they went up like Cisco, Dell, it went up like crazy recently, and that the retirement account become huge. And one of the problem with retirement account, you cannot even gift it. There's no step up, nothing you can do. What do you do at that time? So we sat down with the client, few things. The client was charity minded. Let's say the client likes Dr. Pollepale, what you're doing, a good job for API. Okay, I like Dr. Pollepale, I'm going to gift it if anything happens to me because she's doing such a wonderful job. Okay, so I'm just saying it for math purpose. She wanted to, the retirement account value is, I'm just saying for math purpose, 35 million. Up to 30 million, you have to worry about paying state tax. 5 million, the person can do, they can just name the beneficiary of the retirement account as a charity. Again, the beneficiary of the retirement account charity. Since the charity got the money, there's no state taxes. So one of the mistakes people make in the state planning, they say, hey, if anything happens to me, my this son, daughter will get this much, this person will get this much, charity give this much. Don't do that. My suggestion, if you have a big retirement account, if you're charity minded, give majority of the retirement account to the charity, what you want to give. Why? Is because what happened if the children inherit the retirement account, they have to take everything out within 10 years, right? The law is they have to pay a lot of taxes, but if the money goes to charity, they can keep the other money, which is outside the retirement, and they got to step up in cost basis. So if you have a huge retirement account, think about charity, number one. And number two, one of the best charity you can do, again, just to elaborate a little bit, which is the next question I think you're going to ask, charitable remainder trust. This is something very popular, I think, because the interest rate is high right now. So let's say you have 50 million, I'm giving example, to a retirement account. And you know the retirement account, the children have to take everything out within 10 years anyway. One option could be that a portion of the retirement account after you pass away goes something called the charitable remainder trust. In a charitable remainder trust, the money goes there, you get a portion as a deduction. All right. The way the charitable remainder trusts work, that every year an amount must your children take it as an income. The amount is about 5%. 5% your children has to take as an income. In 20 years, whatever money left over goes to charity. Again, 5% the children from a retirement account must take as an income, and the rest of the money goes to the charity. Now, remember, why would you do that? Because retirement account, the children have to take the money out in 10 years. In charitable remainder trust, 20 years. You have double the amount. So everyone's situation is different. You can sit down and decide if you have a huge retirement account, charitable remainder trust makes sense for you a little bit in this situation nowadays.
So we have some AAPI members who are non-US citizens. What do you suggest they should do in estate planning?
Yeah. So what happened, like I'm a US citizen. I came as an immigrant in this country as a F1 student visa in 2000. Then I got all through, I don't know if you went through that, but I went through I-90, H1 and all of this. And then I become a US citizen. But let's say if I'm a H1 visa and I pass away, in US citizen, husband, wife, they basically get everything tax-free, husband, wife between them. But that is not the case for non-US citizen. There's a cap. The cap is very small, like 180,000 or something, ballpark. Anything more than that, they have to worry about paying taxes. So there's something called Q dot. I think I came to Newburgh, your event. There was a lot of physicians who are actually in J1 visa. If that is the case, and you'll be surprised, they're making a lot of money. They had a lot of liquid cash. So for them, we've sat down and we discussed that for you, Q dot may be making sense. Revocable trust. What happened? Q dot, the money stays into the trust, and then a certain portion goes to the wife till the wife become a US citizen. So in this way, you can avoid a huge amount of taxes. So again, Q dot, if you're making a lot of money, non-US citizen, sit down with your attorney and add the provision into the trust.
So this is a question from the audience. I was previously married and have children from previous marriage, and now I'm newly married. How should I plan my estate planning?
Yeah, so it's quite common in America, 60% always there's a remarry chance. So, and then what happened that as our example, I'm just giving it, put myself an example. Let's say if anything happens to our marriage, I got two beautiful boys. And if I'm newly married, I'm just talking about, I want to make sure my two children are still taken care of. I don't want my new wife to take all the money, but I also want to take care of my new wife as well. So if that is my situation or someone's situation, one option could be you can open up a revocable trust with a provision called QTIP. It's a qualified terminal interest trust. The way the process work, if anything happens to me, everything goes to my wife, all right? And I want to, let's say the new wife, I want to pay for her income rest of her life, a certain income rest of her life. At least her life is keep going. Whatever is residual basically can go to my children from a previous marriage. So it is again called a planning for blended family that my new wife has been taken care of, plus some money goes to my previous marriage, my two children. If a situation like this, QTIP trust does make sense.
Okay. So how much do all of these cost?
Yeah, it's very simple. So every time I use the word called trust, it is $3,500 to $4,000. So revocable trust, 4,000. Irrevocable trust, 4,000. Then let's say SLAT, 4,000. So remember, there are only two type of trust: revocable, irrevocable, and irrevocable could be SLAT or anything, or EJIT, however you want to. So usually, if you create two irrevocable trusts, husband, wife, is 4,000 each. Revocable trust, what happened, joint or single, is the same cost, 3,500 to 4,000. Now, if you just want to create a will, that is very cheap. Will, power of attorney, help proxy, that's about close to, if you go through a lawyer, $800, our lawyer charge. Also nowadays, there's a lot of AI came in like Vanilla, LegalZoom.com. There's no attorney there, but still, I think if you don't have anything, at least use it. It's about $35, you can get it done. So it's up to you which one you use. I recommend hiring an attorney, but nowadays AI is as good as anyone else. So it's up to you.
Okay. So next topic is asset protection. Can you please suggest some basic asset protection strategies?
Sure. You think it's a good idea? Before we get into that, there's a lot of
Yes.
question came in. You think we should finish some of it?
Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay, so Q&A, I'll go to Q&A and
Yeah.
ask. Okay, if someone has net worth more than $27 million, how should we avoid estate taxes?
Yeah. So if someone net worth more than 27, as I mentioned, that beside this, after you have done SLAT, you can do IDGT, IDGT. But before that, you can buy second to die life insurance policy. I'm just talking about, and that can pay, and the life insurance will be owned by a life insurance trust. So try your level best. Number one, to do SLAT. After you have done the SLAT, if you have grandchildren or children, every year give $19,000 times two, husband, wife together, 38,000. If you have grandchildren going to private school, pay for them. That's on top of the 38,000 though. And then you buy second to die life insurance policy. You have done that too. Everything you have done it. Then you think about doing IDGT because your net worth is quite high.
So what are the names of the two books again?
So one book, the book is A Random Walk Down Wall Street by Burton, 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 Malkiel, Burton Malkiel. And the other one is Anthropic, Claude, very popular.
Okay, Random Walk? Is it?
Yeah, A Random Walk Down, DOWN, Wall Street.
Okay. Malkel is the author?
Yes, it's Burton, Burton, first name, and last name is Malkiel.
Kiel. Okay. All right, perfect. Okay, what are your thoughts for target date funds? Can you suggest some that you think are good?
Yeah. So as I'm saying that if you're not investing anything, just might as well do it. The problem is that people aren't investing. Might as well just buy the target date fund. At least it will go higher, right? But I believe buying index funds. But I do understand that it's too complicated. You don't want to pay a financial advisor. Okay, target date fund is not that bad because at least you invested. As you're becoming older, it becomes conservative. It's okay.
Okay. I think a ladybird deed is valid in Georgia also. Is that correct?
I have to take a look, but I can ask Claude, but it'll take me some time. But yes, I have to check. But I think the state I mentioned it does, but Georgia maybe. I have to check.
Okay. How often can you change the revocable trust, and does it cost anything to change it partially or wholly?
Yeah, you can change as many times as you want, but every time there's a small here and there amendment, it's $250.
How do you sign up for a TOD at the bank or brokerage place?
Oh yeah, it's very easy. So what happened that, for example, we are with our custodian is Fidelity, NFS Fidelity. So what happened if I have just a brokerage account, I would just add a column called TOD there. I just add it there. And then account becomes, let's say, Dr. Pollepale. It will just say Dr. Pollepale TOD, your trust. So it's very simple. They can just do it for you. Very easy.
Okay. My estate planning attorney recommended that we put the property in our children's names so that the amount of the gift doesn't go above the limit of estate tax. Can you comment?
Yeah, so I think there could be, so what happened that there got to be a reason why the attorney said, I'm think a good attorney. So remember, you lose the step up in cost basis if you gift it. I'm assuming that the attorney thought the property value will go higher. And I'm assuming your net worth is substantially higher. And that's why the attorney said that. Yes, if that is the case, you can gift it to the children's name. But I was recommending if you're gifting it, try to do it through an irrevocable trust like a SLAT, because the assets are protected from divorce and lawsuit. That's what my 2 cents to it.
Okay. Can you post the recordings of this meeting? Yes, we'll always post it on the AAPI website, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. How does one pick between SLAT and irrevocable trust for children? Which one?
Yeah. So remember that the question basically becomes which one to pick. If you just want to just give it to the children and forget it, irrevocable trust. But I don't want to give it to them right away. I want to give them after I die. So this is me, Syed Nishat. So I will do SLAT. But I have a client who just say, yeah, I just want to give it. I don't want access to it. I want to forget about it. Okay, just irrevocable trust. Give it.
Okay.
Fine.
Which trusts have to file IRS annually?
The irrevocable trust, remember, it's just the EIN number. For tax purpose, that becomes basically a non-existence. But what happened, there's no tax filing for it. But once you gift it once a year, you have to file the gift tax filing. But there's no every year tax filing for an irrevocable trust because it is still taxed under your individual social security. In terms of tax, it's a grantor trust. We don't want to tax it under the trust name because it's very expensive.
Okay. So I have a personal foundation 2503C. Can I leave excess of 30 million to my foundation without any tax consequences? Are there any restrictions to sending money to charitable foundation of a personal nature?
Yeah, so anything more than 30 million, you can gift it to the private foundation. Yeah, it's one of the way you can save some of the state taxes. And we have people that they have this private foundation, money goes into that. And then the children are the trustee of the private foundation, but private foundation have the rules and regulations. They have to adhere by it. Every year, certain money must go to some charity. Yes, are there restriction? Yeah, there are always restriction you have to follow though. Yes. The restriction you have to follow. But yes, private foundation, charitable remainder trust, people or charitable lead trust, anything north of 30 million people do it all the time after they die or during their lifetime as well.
Okay. So can you talk about donor advised funds?
Yeah, so the donor advised fund, so they're basically a donor advised fund. There's something called private foundation. So private foundation, basically there are two. One is called simple plain vanilla private foundation. You put money and you pretty much every year must give some money to a charity. And then you have some more flexibility to invest the money. Charitable lead trust, remainder trust is a type of private foundation. So donor advised fund, I think if you hate lawyer, financial advisor, yeah, donor advised fund is simple. You can open the account with Fidelity, show up and just put the money.
Okay. Can you explain what a CRUT is?
Yeah, so remember, we spoke about charitable remainder trust. There are two types of charitable remainder trust. One, you get every year fixed income, and one, you basically get variable income depending on the rate. So one is a CRAT and one is a CRUT. These are the two differences, a fixed versus variable. So it's up to you which one you want, but usually I just go with the fixed one, CRAT, CRAT.
Okay, so in a CRUT, 5% goes to a family member every year, and then the remainder goes to a charity?
Go to charity, correct.
Okay. What is a dynasty trust?
Yeah, so dynasty trust, what happened, Dr. Pollepale, let's say, can I use you as an example? I'm keep using myself as an example. Okay, so I'm going to use you as an example. So let's say, Dr. Pollepale, you said that, you know what, I'm not revealing any information from you. I'm just giving example. Let's say your net worth is 20 million and you don't want your, let's say you have a son or daughter to take any money out all right away. You wanted to have this trust perpetuity forever. I'm just talking about, and you want the son or daughter to only take income every year and the trust will go forever. So this forever, and then the grandchildren will get forever. There's no division happening at all. The property, your trust, Pollepale will trust generation of AAPI. If that is the case, you can do something called a dynasty trust. Dynasty means it is forever. If you don't want to divide it and gift it to the children right away, if you want to leave it for a long time, dynasty provision does make sense. And we usually would like to see your net worth more than 20 million to do it.
Okay. So which states are favorable for dynasty trusts? And what about gifting on a yearly basis to kids and relatives to reduce their estate size?
Yeah, so the trust I like for dynasty, usually Nevada, Delaware, these two. South Dakota is okay. Alaska nowadays becoming popular, mainly for dynasty trust for asset protection, right? So if that is the case, yeah, Nevada, Alaska, South Dakota is fine too, but I prefer these two. And converting 401k to Roth IRA, this person is asking, yeah, it makes sense converting Roth to Roth. If your taxable income is low, that particular year, and if the market is down, both needs to happen ideally. If the market is down, you convert the money into a low market, you pay less taxes, and the money grows, it grows to stay tax-free. And then the children inherit the money in Roth IRA, there is no taxes they pay. It does make sense depending on the market and your tax bracket.
Okay. So what about gifting on a yearly basis to kids and relatives to reduce estate size?
Yes, you should give the 19,000 times 2, 38,000 to whoever you want to. You can even give it me to as well if you want to. So 38,000 times 2 is per person. So you should give as much as you want. Plus, that 5 to 9 pre-funding, if you have children, grandchildren, try to pre-fund their 5 to 9 in one go. The 19 times 5 times 2. Try to pre-fund if you can, if the market is down, if you want to do it. It's a good way to reduce your estate tax as well.
Okay. How about converting 401k to Roth 401k?
Yeah, as I mentioned, that you should do it if the market is down and your tax bracket is low. It does make sense.
Does your firm accept law insurance?
Yeah, I'm not sure what it means. Yeah, so, right. So I'm a CFP, I'm a board certified planner, so not sure. Yeah.
Okay. Can SLAP be used in Dynasty Trust?
Yeah, remember, the dynasty is just a provision. It could be irrevocable trust, a slat, or it could be revocable trust. It's just a provision. You put the dynasty provision there, it becomes dynasty trust.
Okay. So how much does it cost to review and update a SLAP?
Yeah, so if it's just a small review and no major update needed, then I think for 1,000 to 1,500 usually it gets done. But if it's 10 years old, the best thing to do is to reinstate everything. So it may cost around $4,000, depending on how old is the flat is. I think, Dr. Pollepale, we have too many questions. Let's just go to the next topic. We'll come back to finish it. How about that? You think? How do you want to do it?
Yeah, sure. Okay, here's something totally different. Any thoughts about bringing foreign fund assets properties in India after parents' death due to co-owning them? Do you know anybody who would help with tax filing and questions regarding that?
Yeah, the FBR filing that is needed, because remember the FBR filing that you do if the parents pass away in India, that you inherit the money, there are taxes you may have to pay in India, but as long as the total assets below 30 million you accept, there's none. But we have a CPA we work with. We can refer you. They can help you with that. But there's a law firm and CPA you have to work with, specialize in it.
Okay. So shall we go to asset protection?
Yeah,
then?
let's just go to asset protection and we can come back very quickly on this one if they still have time.
Okay. Can you please suggest some basic asset protection strategies?
Yeah. So for the audience here, that you'll be surprised to know those who are self-employed, percent of the complaint or lawsuit happen to them from the employees. So if you're employer, be more careful about them than patients. Patients usually complain very rare, but more complaints happen because of the work law. So if you are a self-employed physician, I highly recommend to get something called EPLI insurance, because harassment cases and everything are very common, it's very cheap. Make sure you have the EPLI insurance. A lot of physicians are self-employed at Pollepale, and I see they don't have employee handbook. They have 4 or 5 employees, don't have it. Have an employee handbook. It's a law. It's a New York law. Have to have it. Then in the form I-9 is very complicated. No one is completing it. After you hire someone in New York, especially, you have to complete the I-9 form, the verification. There's a big complaint about that. A lot of physicians are self-employed. They have something called 401k, defined benefit plan. And ERISA documents are very tricky. A lot of complaint happen in ERISA documents, so make sure you have a good actuary who can help you with that. And a lot of physicians, especially in New York, I'm talking about, you're in New York too, you probably understand my pain, that they have harassment training, harassment courses, all employee must do it. So if you don't do all of this, there are more lawsuits worry about that. So I highly recommend like ADP or Paychecks, very cheap, have a virtual assistant at least, if you don't want to have a full-fledged. They should be able to guide you further. All right, I highly recommend. So this is the first step, get it done. Second step, I recommend there's something called basic, you ask the question, that there's something called joint tenants by entirety. I see in the question and answer, there's some people from Florida. So Florida have a statute called joint tenants by entirety. Statute. Use it. It's free. No attorney needed. Number two, Florida or Texas, they have unlimited asset protection for wage account. There's something called wage account in Florida. This retirement account, they have elements of asset protection. Use it. Once you have done these two, then if you have brokerage account, what you can do, you can create something called family limited partnership or FLP. Family limited partnership, there's a general partner, there's a limited partner. It's very cheap. It costs about $2,500 to $3,000, depending on the state you live in. Create a FLP. If you have real estate, don't have it under your name. I highly recommend to create something called LLC and put the real estate there, because tenant sues you, at least you're protected. Last couple of things I recommend, that if you are locum, like in Newburgh, when I came and say you, a lot of young physicians, they were doing 1099 Schedule C under their own name. It's a mistake. Don't do it. Do a DBA, doing business as like Syed Nishat or Wall Street Alliance Group. So at least there's a shield there. And then have an umbrella policy. I highly recommend $3 million umbrella policy, $3 to $4 million. All physicians should have it, umbrella policy. And lastly, if husband, wife, one physician, non-spouse, if you trust the spouse, put more money into the spouse's name, because malpractice. So these are like something called low hanging fruit. You don't need really that many attorneys to do it. These are the basic things you should get it done. If the net worth is below 5 million to 6 million, I recommend these are the things to get started. Don't do anything complicated than this.
Okay. What is domestic asset protection trust?
Yeah, domestic asset protection trust, if your net worth is more than close to 10 million, then you really want to protect it, then you can create Nevada trust, Delaware trust. You put the money, and after 3 years, the assets are usually protected, but it's very expensive, $6,000 to set it up, and a yearly $2,500 fee to do it. So again, net worth needs to be higher. So remember, net worth below 5 million, do the basic one. Net worth more than close to 10 million, that vicinity, you can think about domestic asset protection trust.
Okay. What is offshore trust and how does that work?
Yeah. So what happened, the domestic asset protection trust, Dr. Pollepale, is not available in all states. Like Georgia, someone asked the question, Georgia doesn't have it. So in those states, you can think about something called offshore trust, foreign judgment. If, for example, Cook Island, those kind of, it's a foreign, it cost is the same. You can, like Georgia, you can just open this offshore trust, LLC, you can put the brokerage account there, assets are protected. But again, those are the states that don't have the DAPT, you can think about the offshore trusts.
Okay. Can you explain Series LLC?
Yeah, so this is the last, hopefully, question, and we can go back to Q&A. I appreciate everyone is here. So the series LLC, what happened to Pollepale, that people have a lot of LLCs for different real estate, but they get tired. They say, hey, so many LLCs are open for 5 real estate. There's something called series LLC. Not every state have it, but Delaware, Texas, Nevada, Illinois, they allow it. New York, they don't. So, but if you're part of those residents, talk to your attorney, you can create a parent LLC called Series LLC and hop all the LLCs underneath it. So it becomes easy to manage. You can think about it and it becomes less costlier.
Okay. So how much umbrella policy should one have?
Yeah, I do recommend the umbrella policy. You should have whatever your net worth, at least that much, I recommend. But in a ballpark range, if you're asking some physician in the range of 50, net worth about 3 to 4 million, we do recommend at least that much amount, 4 to 5 million, have umbrella policy. We do recommend.
Okay. So I'll go back to the question and answers. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So should IRA money go to the children as beneficiary or to the trust?
Yeah. So what happened if you haven't updated your trust, revocable trust, the Secure Act 2.0, if you don't have those provisions, then the best thing to do is just give it to their individual name, because then it's a headache. So if the trust have all the provision, we prefer trust, but what happened then, if you don't have the provision, it's not going to work. So then, and if your retirement account is small, then why worry too much, all of it, just give it to the individual names.
Okay. What was the book by Ray Dalio? What was the name of the book?
Principle.
Principle.
Yeah, but read this one first. Random Walk Down to Wall Street before you read that. If you, yeah.
Random Walk Down Wall Street, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If you have residents highly appreciated with 8 to 9 million, what should you do? That's nice.
If you have say it again. What was the question?
Highly appreciated residents, I guess residential property that they're saying.
Yeah. So if you have 8 to 9 million highly appreciated property, I would keep it. And if this is all you have, I'm just saying it, then you should keep it. I'm just saying it if you want to keep it for long term. Remember, if appreciated property, you pass away, the children get the step up in cost basis, right? They will get it tax free as long as your net worth is below 30. So below 30, try to use the step up in cost basis is very important. But over 30, then we have to discuss though a little bit more. I should not make a blanket comment in the webinar, but I'm assuming net worth is below that, then I would just give it after you pass away.
Okay. What is the Omaha Trust?
Yeah, so remember each state, they have their trust. You can create it, but Omaha is one of the states you can create the trust. Is it strong enough? Nevada, Delaware, I prefer Delaware. Nevada is very strongest.
Okay. So we've spoken about this, but they're saying, how do you avoid capital gains tax?
Yeah, we spoke about it, capital gains. So capital gains, I guess the question is that if you have a lot of appreciated stock, how can you avoid so one option could be you can donate the appreciated stock. I'm just talking about API, or you can create a donor advised fund. In a donor advised fund, let's say next year you will give money to the donation anyway, might as well you just pre-fund a donor advised fund with the appreciated stock. Let's say in NVIDIA you have it, you gift it, you get the deduction. Number two, if you have a tax loss harvesting, I'm just talking about, you can do it within the stock. That will give you some leeway. If one of the things you can think about, Dr. Pollepale, I just want to talk for 1 second. If you have a lot of appreciated stock capital gain, let's say NVIDIA concentrated, they can take a look into exchange fund. Again, exchange fund by Cache or something, some company. So what happened, they take the NVIDIA stock and give you a diversified mutual fund, and you have to hold it for a lockup, let's say 7 years, and then after, and you defer the capital gain. You can also do something called direct indexing as well. So depending on how much is the capital gain, is it worth it to do all of it? That's something you have to sit down with your financial advisor.
Okay. So if you already have a trust, can you advise and how much would you charge to look at it?
For API members, you can just send it. We will just take a look with our attorney and give you pro bono. You don't have to pay anything. So to review it, but for full disclosure, any attorney they see, they always will come up with some flaws. So that's the way the system works, but it doesn't mean you have to use it. Is it a big deal? That's the question you have to ask, that whatever changes they will recommend. But as long as the clauses, the 5 clauses, I will show the screen one more time to all of you guys to just take a picture of it for everyone. As long as you see these 5 clauses, no contestant, spindrift, secure act, lifetime trust, dynasty, the digital property clause, take a picture of it. You're reading it, you look okay. All right, you should be fine. Yeah.
So can you make a partial revocable trust or a partial irrevocable trust?
Oh yeah, so basically partial, what probably he's trying to say, you have to create like one or another. No, you can create one revocable, one irrevocable if you want, and gift half. Put
Okay.
half if you want, yeah.
Can you explain the crummy law when you gift to an irrevocable trust in your children's name?
Yeah. So what happened once you gift the money in, like say for example, a life insurance, you have to send crummy letters by law to the children. And crummy letter basically says they have the right to withdraw money from the irrevocable trust you put into the beneficiaries. But I'm assuming your beneficiaries will be fine. They're not going to execute the crummy letter. Why are they going to take the money out? So that's something you have to give it by according to the IRS regulation. An attorney should be able to draft it for you.
Okay. Can you name donor advised fund as beneficiary to an IRA?
Oh yeah, of course. That's the best way to gift it if you want to give it to charity. That's very important. That's the best way to give it.
Okay. What about trust in Wyoming?
Yeah, so trust in Wyoming, again, as I mentioned, there are different states, about 17, I believe. These are one of the states. So remember, basically the question is that there are about 17 states in America that allow something called DAPT, Domestic Asset Protection Trust. The question is which one to use. Is Wyoming good? Oh, okay, but as so far what is tested, it has been Nevada and Delaware, which are the strongest.
Okay. Is there an annual fee to maintaining a dynasty trust? And does putting retirement funds in dynasty trust make sense?
Yeah, it depends on your situation. Yes, it does. If you want to really protect the assets for the retirement account, you can flow through the trust. But remember, the Secure Act 2.0 got to be there. But if it becomes too complicated, if the amount of retirement account is not too much, one of the things could be done, primary beneficiary spouse, secondary should be naming the individual because they will be transferring their individual retirement account. It's much easier that way, okay? Number one. Number two, how much does it cost dynasty? Remember, dynasty is just a provision. All right, it's just a provision that after you pass away, it belongs forever. So I think the children will have to deal with it, but yeah, every year there's some tweaks needed, maintenance needed. It should not be that expensive, but that's not during your lifetime. That will be after you pass away. The maintenance comes into play.
What is the cost of a dynasty trust? Is it better to do 2 dynasty trusts if there are 2 children? Is it needed to use a bank trustee or have a relative as a trustee?
Yeah, so that again boils down that if you trust your relative good enough and their net worth is good enough, then you, and there's no jealousy, then yeah, you can count on it, then the relative is good enough, in my opinion. Is it better to bank? Yeah, there's a lot of advantages to using a bank, and that's why I think you asked the question that should we use a professional trustee? Is it better to have 2 trusts versus 1 dynasty for the children? So each children, if you're giving money, and you want to protect it, they should have their own dynasty trust. So since it's pretty much the same, like when you open it, the cost should not be that expensive.
I have a naive question for you. Supposing you were saying there is jealousy and so forth, but there's nothing they can do, right? They can't direct the money to their children or anything like that, right? What can they do that could be harmful?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, that by law, they're not supposed to do anything. They will not be able to, she should not embezzle it. It just, they don't come on the phone. They're lazy. It happens sometimes, but as long as you think they will come on the phone, and sometimes with the Pollepale, what happened, they, to make it, they're worth it, they pay them some money. Hey, you're spending some time to do that. So it all depends on the chemistry and your net worth.
Okay. So if assets are already in a joint account, is it still necessary to transfer assets to the spouse?
Remember, joint account, or if a lawsuit happened, your portion is open, right? So that's why if you're a physician, non-physician, if you want to give it to the spouse and the assets are out of some sort of protection there, you can give it more to the spouse if you feel like it. So if a malpractice happened, the other spouse is a non-physician, it's helpful. But remember, if a divorce happened, you will be on the street. So just be careful. Yeah.
Okay. Can you name your adult children as trustees on your irrevocable trust?
Yeah, so remember that you are grantor, so the children could be the trustee, that's fine. Adult children, after a certain age, people do it all the time. So yeah, it is fine after a certain age.
Okay. I have property in Canada and was told I have to go through Canadian trust rules and create a trust there as well. Is that true?
Yeah, Canada, UK, they have to use their attorney, barrister, and everything. Yes. So we have attorneys who can help you with that. If that's what you need, we can refer you to.
Is Wyoming state good for anonymous trust?
Anonymous, Wyoming, Alaska, anonymous. They cannot find you if they Google you. Yes, it is.
Okay. So who are professional trustees and how do I find one?
Yeah, the local bank, like for example, in our situation, our broker dealer, Osaic, they have something called Premier Trust in-house, our own trust division. They could be the trustee. If you have account with advisors, I'm sure they have some trust division as well. You can ask your financial advisors, but there's so many banks, anyone.
Okay. So we come to the conclusion at this point. So
Sure.
thank you so much, Syed. Thank you for the audience. We had more than 170 people at one time. So
Yeah.
that was an amazing turnout. And so many people, I didn't say this, so many people complimented you. So
Thank you.
thank you so much. Amazing talk. Thank you.
Thank you. And but the recording will be there. Hopefully you can do most of it by yourself and don't and find it useful. But if you thank you very much, Dr. Pollepale, for the hard work you do. It's almost 9 o'clock. You're doing it for AAPI. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And this will be recorded and it'll be shared on the AAPI website. And I'm sure Dr. Chakrabarty will send it in the email as well.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Pollepale, for everything. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.